Alright, so I know it's been a while since I've done a video, so I just wanted to have a reason to do a video, and my cousin was asking me about the different systems, and thought I'd make a video and just give some information on that. Um, I'm a big fan of all video games, and the fun part is that I have a PC, I have my Xbox, I have my Nintendo Switch. I don't have a PlayStation, and the reason I don't have a PlayStation was because at the time of my diagnosis with my MS, I had enough money to get my MRIs, do all that stuff, and I had saved up money for a system, and I was going to get both, the PlayStation and the Xbox One. At that time it was the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. So I had to make a choice. And I made the choice of the Xbox because they botched their release so bad that they had to recover. And I knew that when a company botches things really bad and they're as wealthy as Microsoft is, they will offer you some amazing deals. And so I went with Microsoft knowing that they would be having to make up ground. And I'm glad I did. So let's just talk about the systems that are available. So you have the Xbox, and right now the generation is the Series X and Series S. And then you have the PlayStation 5, and then you have the Nintendo Switch. I'm not going to tell you which one is the best system because they're all good. They will provide you hours upon hours of entertainment. They have tons of games available for them. And so I'm not going to say which one is the best. I'll say which one is my preference. That's all I'll do. But I'll give you some information. So the Switch, if you're thinking about getting a Switch, you might want to hold off until the Switch 2 because the Switch is in its 7th year. And they need to release the new one. They've already alluded to it. They are saying they have the next system ready, and it will be out next year. And what's cool is the games that you have now for the Switch will carry over to the next one. Everybody's about 98% sure that it will, because of what Nintendo has said. But since the new one's coming out, if you're thinking of going the Nintendo route, wait for the Nintendo Switch 2, whatever they're going to call it. I don't know what they're going to call it. I really hope they call it the new Super Nintendo. That would be awesome. And the Switch comes in a couple varieties. There is the Switch Lite, which is just a handheld. It does not hook up to your TV, and the controllers are integrated onto the system. With the stick drift problem that Nintendo has had, probably not a great option. But I have the Nintendo Switch OLED, and I think it's fantastic. I love this system. The downside to Nintendo is that their online play is fairly non-existent. They do not have a robust online society like the Xbox or the PlayStation. They don't have voice chat. The only voice chat they have is through a program on your phone, which is ridiculous. And so Nintendo is way behind the times when it comes to that. So for me, it's like Nintendo is great to have as a supplement to the other systems, but not as a main system. Then the PlayStation 5. I didn't get one, and it's sad. I do want one. It has some great games for it, and the Spider-Man game looks absolutely amazing. And so I really want one. But I went the Xbox route, and I don't regret it at all. But now the PlayStation comes in two varieties. You can get it without the disc player or with a disc player, and that's your only options there. And like I said, I have nothing against the system. I want one. If I had the money, I would have one. But I went the other route. And so, like I said, It's a great system. I have nothing against it. The only thing I have against PlayStation is the controller. I hate the controller where those two analog sticks are straight in from your thumbs. It kind of makes it to where if you're pushing left with your thumb, that's up on the stick. And I don't like the way the controller is set up. And that's another big factor for me. The Xbox controller, I believe, is the best controller out there. Just hands down. I love that controller. The Xbox Series systems, don't confuse it with the Xbox One. The Xbox Series systems comes in two varieties. There's the Series S and the Series X. Now the Series X is designed for, it's a little bit more powerful for HD TVs to produce in 4K. So a lot of games will support 4K 60 frames a second. And it's an amazing system. I love my Series X. I also have a Series S. Now what's funny is with the Series X, I didn't actually pay for it with money. That was through collections on Bing and with the surveys that I do online. And so I was able to pre-order that without having to pay for it. It's kind of cool. Then I got a Series S to hook up to my 2K monitor, which works fantastic. It's a great system. We'll talk about the difference in the money in just a second. Now with each of these systems, you have to, they all come with an onboard memory. The Series X comes with a 1 terabyte memory, so you can store games on it, as does the PlayStation. The Series S, when it first came out, was 500 gig. And then they created the black model, which is the one I would suggest if you're going to go the S route. That has a terabyte as well on board. And the PlayStation has the 1 terabyte. The Switch, that's a totally different story. They have such little memory on that, but you can buy micro SD cards to store your games, which is really cool because those are a lot cheaper. So now it comes down to which system should I get and what's the future of them. Now the problem is, this is the weirdest generation of systems. The PlayStation and the Xbox both released during the pandemic, and they were hard to get a hold of, and it took about 3 years before they were readily available to everyone. Now the thing is, usually in the life cycle of either a system or top tier PCs and stuff, well, PCs are a different story. They just are so, I love PCs. I have a gaming PC. The problem was I got a gaming PC and not a couple years later it's almost out of date. The release of the video cards that you need to make the games look great, they come out way too often and they're expensive. The cost of just the latest video card is almost double what these systems that I'm talking about are. So I'm going to leave PC out of this, though I do like PC gaming, don't get me wrong. And that's the thing, is I have no bias as far as I don't hate any of the systems. I think they're all great, and if I could, I would have every single one of them from the dawn of time until now, because I love video games. It's been a passion of mine, a hobby of mine for a long time. So let's go with the Nintendo Switch first. The Nintendo Switch has a small amount of memory. I think it's 64 gig of memory on board, and then you have to buy a micro SD card, which those are pretty cheap. And so you get a 1 terabyte micro SD card for about 75 bucks. And so that's a great way to expand your memory. That's what I have in mind. And so it's a cheaper route as far as memory goes. And so the trade-off is the Switch is an underpowered system. It is old technology, but the games are really good. I love my Switch. I absolutely love it. And I'm really excited about the Switch 2. But if you're looking for one to play online with people, if you're looking for the latest and greatest games, that is not the system to go with. So then you have the Xbox and the PlayStation. So the Xbox, while it comes with a terabyte on board for storing games, you can buy memory expansion cards. These are really convenient because all you do is plug and play them. They are a little bit expensive. I believe right now they're somewhere around $165 for 1 terabyte. And the PlayStation uses installable cards. So you have a choice of a lot of different manufacturers. It just has to be compatible with it. And the price is a little bit less. The cards for the Xbox have been coming down to where they're almost on par with the memory for the PlayStation. And so either way, whether you go on PlayStation or Xbox, you have to make a choice. Do you want to keep uninstalling and reinstalling games once you get a good collection going, or do you want to buy a memory card? And so with mine, I did get a memory card for it, and I'm very glad I did, because the size of games nowadays, you need it. So the question is, and I was asked, which system should I get, and is there any longevity to it? The answer is, get whichever system has the games you like, that offers what you like. For me, the Xbox plays all the games that I really want to play, and I love the online infrastructure for the Xbox. It has always been head and shoulders above everybody else's. It's easy to get into a game, it's easy to start a game, there's no having to work around stuff. It is just easy to use. The PlayStation, I don't have a PlayStation 5, so I don't know how their network is now. I'm assuming that they've caught up with Xbox a little bit. From what I read online, they're not quite there, but they're almost there. And so if they got even almost there, then they're doing really good. And so either way, the online infrastructure for the Xbox and the PlayStation 5 are fine. And you'll be able to get into games easily. The Switch is another story. Without that voice chat, it's horrible, because one, they don't have like a friends group where you can just invite your friend. You have to go through this passcode thing, get their passcode, they have to get your passcode, and then you join up, and then you have to use an app on a phone to communicate with each other. It's silly. And so the PlayStation and the Xbox, head and shoulders above that. Either way, with the PlayStation and Xbox, you're going to get about the same quality as far as graphics go. So really, it all boils down to what has the games you want, where your friends are at. If all your friends have PlayStations, get a PlayStation. If all your friends have Xbox, get an Xbox. Now, there are some advantages in my opinion, to the Xbox. And you have to remember, like I said, the system's been out for a while. We're talking, 3 years. We're going into our 4th year with these systems. The thing is that systems usually last between 5 to 8 years before the next system is announced and getting ready to come out. Xbox has done a magnificent job with making games backwards compatible. So all the games that I had on my Xbox One, minus the ones for the Kinect, because that's not supported now, but all the games I had for my Xbox One are playable on my Series consoles. And that was a big selling point to me as well, because I have a pretty big library of games. It's almost embarrassing when people see how many I have. People online don't believe it when I tell them, yeah, I've got over 700 games just on my Xbox, and that's not including my PC, my Nintendo, all that stuff. And I've got quite the collection. And what's cool about the Xbox is that all those games followed me from if I had them digitally, from the original Xbox to the 360 to the Xbox One, now in the Series. And so most of my favorite games did come with it, which is really nice. And you got to remember that number of games is over a span of over 20 years. So I don't feel too like I'm a freak, but well maybe I am. But as far as which system to get, one thing that I love about Xbox is Game Pass, and I know I've talked about that before. Game Pass is amazing. So there is a list of games. In fact, I'll put it over the screen right now and just let it scroll through. You can slow down or pause it, whatever, to look at the different titles. But there are, over, I think there's like 300 and something games to choose from. And all you do is click on it, install it. You can go two routes. You can install it or play it from the cloud. Which playing it from the cloud, unless you have a really good connection, doesn't really work great. Like up here in Alaska, it wouldn't work for me to play things over the cloud. But you can download any game from that list of games and just stick it on your system and play it until you're bored with it. So this is really cool, and I love Game Pass. I'm a huge fan of it. And what's funny is you'll hear people talk about how it costs developers money because then people don't buy their games, they just want to play it on Game Pass, all that. That might be true for some. I don't know the full details, but for me, I actually end up buying more games because of Game Pass than I did before. So I'll be playing a Game Pass game, and if I really like it, I'll stick it on my wish list, and when it drops in price, when it goes on sale, I'll buy it. And that way I have it in my collection. It's really cool. But so that's just my take on the different systems. You can't go wrong with any of the systems. But as far as longevity goes, we are looking at the new systems will be coming out in a couple of years. But Microsoft is trying really hard, and this is something Microsoft is frustrating, but they're also really good. They are pro-consumer, but they're anti-consumer. That's with every company, because the bottom line is they want your dollar. They have promised to make all their games carry forward to the next system, and that is a big one for me. So between that, carrying games forward, the ease of online play, and the fact that I have such a big collection, that really keeps me within the Xbox ecosystem. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is Game Pass. So the PlayStation and the Xbox have a service kind of similar. PlayStation has one that has a bunch of games on it that you can download, play, just like Game Pass. They don't put their day one titles in there, though. They will wait a while and then stick them in later. With Xbox, and the Xbox brand games are amazing, like the Forzas, the Halos, Gears of War, that kind of stuff. They put them on day one. So the day it releases, you can download it and play it. Like, I just am playing Senua's Sacrifice, the new game in the Senua saga. And it's not one I would buy, but I'm glad I have Game Pass so that I could play it. And if it ever went on sale for a low price, I would buy it. So not only do they get my money for the Game Pass, but then they would get my money for the game later. And so it works out both ways. It works out for them and for the consumer, because I can sit there and I can play the games and decide which ones I like, which ones I want to put into my library later. And I think it's fantastic. So with Game Pass, as you can see from the games that have scrolled, there are a ton of games to choose from. Just an absolute treasure trove of games to play. You probably wouldn't be able to play them all in the time you have that you'd own the system. And it's fantastic, because then you can try games that you never would have given a second thought to. So, and the PlayStation has a similar type of service, just without the newest releases hitting it day one. So that's big for me with the Xbox. But both of them are great. They are a little bit expensive. So Game Pass will run you about both of these top tier programs for PlayStation and Xbox will run you about $17 a month if you get it through those systems if you get it through those companies. So if you buy your Game Pass from Microsoft, you're going to end up paying a little bit more than you could if you shopped around. And I'm going to tell you where to go to get good deals on that. For the PlayStation, the plans that they have their big plan, which is $160 a year if you buy it through PlayStation. And when you divide up the amount that you spend on games, that is only, 3 games. So if you're going to plan on buying 3 games for the year, buy one of these plans. That's for the big plan, is the 160 a year. Then they have another plan. It's the step down, and that's 135 a year. And then the lowest plan, which is $79.99 a year. And that is essentially giving you the opportunity to play games online. There are perks within the system. I don't know PlayStation's perks because I haven't played around with their system. But from what I'm seeing, there are perks just like there are with Xbox. And I'll explain the Xbox one. Now, the Xbox with Game Pass, now everything's rolled into Game Pass now. There is no more Xbox Live Gold or anything like that. So with the Xbox, you have a tier that replaced Gold. So it's cheap. So it's like $75 for the year. And again, never pay full price, and I'll go into that in just a minute. And then with the Ultimate Game Pass, it's $17 a month. You can buy 6 months subscriptions, you can buy 3 month subscriptions. But the thing with Game Pass is that they always have sales. If you go to a place I like to go, it's called cdkeys.com. I'll stick it here down below. They usually have really good sales, and you can usually end up getting it for about $10 a month instead of the $17. Maybe $10 to $12 depending on the day. So never pay full price for Game Pass, never pay full price for PlayStation Plus. That's just don't pay full price. So that's the different tiers of the different things available. So with the Xbox, you have your Game Pass. The minimum one just allows you to play online, gives you about 25 games to choose from that you can download. And, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's cheap. But then you have Game Pass Ultimate. That's the one to get. And this is the one where you want to look for sales. Amazon will have sales every now and then. CD Keys constantly has time on sale. With Game Pass Ultimate, you get the games to play, which are hundreds of games. Then you get the ability to stream the games. So that's kind of cool. So you can play them on a tablet, you can play them on your phone, you can play them on your computer or whatever. You can stream the game to where you don't have to download the whole game. And if you have a good internet connection, that's not too bad. With Game Pass Ultimate, you also get the ability to do what used to be just the Bing point stuff and the little things that have you do to earn points. Now with Ultimate, you can earn more points. They've kind of taken away the Bing stuff. There's still those search points, but they took away the Bing stuff, incorporated it into Game Pass. And for me, that's big because that's how I get a lot of my stuff, a lot of my games, is I save up my Bing points and I buy games with my points. And so it's kind of cool. But Game Pass Ultimate is great because then you can play it not only on your Xbox, but any of the games that are supported on PC as well. You can play PC or on Xbox or stream onto a tablet, onto any other system that you can get to a web browser. So it is fantastic. So that's kind of all that in a nutshell. I know I just kind of rambled on about it. If you have any questions, let me know. But as far as the system's life, longevity, and if they're going to stick around, who knows? Really, who knows? We don't know how long this current generation is going to last. There's rumors that it will be in 2026 that the new systems will come out, which means the old systems will last another year or two before they phase them out. And, but at the same time, I don't worry about that because A, Microsoft does a great job with backwards compatibility. PlayStation has learned that that is important too, so I don't think that'll be a problem going forward. I don't worry about it also because the price you're spending, it's not as much as a computer. So the Series X will run you $500, which that is the one I'd recommend if you're getting a Series console. Although the Series S is a great system, and it's not as powerful as the X, but it plays everything that the X does. And so think of it like having a really awesome gaming computer, and then you have just a gaming computer. That's kind of the difference. So on the awesome gaming computer, you can set all the settings to max, and on your little one, you bring them down so that it can run everything. So the Series S is a great system. I love it. Like I said, I have it hooked up to a 2K monitor, and it works fantastic. Games look great. Everything looks great. But on my 4K TV, I have my Series X hooked up, and that looks great, and it's amazing. Now, I was using a Series S on my 4K TV before, and it works good. So, not a problem there. It's just that the Series S doesn't support the full 4K experience. That's basically the difference. So, let me know if you have any questions. I know I've kind of just rambled. I don't know if I covered everything good or not, but the bottom line is have fun, and basically, if you got people that you can play with, go to that system. Doesn't matter which system it is, just, the whole point of video games is just to have fun. And if you're having fun, you win, no matter which system you got. So, yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I'll talk to you later. Bye.